90% of new guitar players quit within the first year, and there are plenty of reasons for that. And if I can be completely honest, my 24 years of playing and 3 attempts at learning, I wholeheartedly believe that starting with the electric guitar is what derails most beginners because it derailed me the first 2 times. Mark, and welcome to the first 5-Minute Friday. So what makes a great first guitar? Is it an acoustic or electric? Is it cheap or does it cost a lot of money? I didn't want this to be another beginner guitar shopping list. I could throw a dozen of recommendations at you, but honestly, who does that help? Instead, I want to tell you a story. My story about how I learned how to play the guitar. It took me 3 separate attempts to finally stick with it and succeed. And along the way, I learned a lot about what really makes a good first guitar. So in my attempt number 1, it all started at church. And there was a gentleman there by the name of Mr. Jimmy. Mr. Jimmy had heard me sing, and he thought I'd be a natural at playing the guitar as well. So one Sunday, he walked up to me, he handed me an electric guitar, which was my very first one. Now, I love Mr. Jimmy, and I respected him a lot. But here's the thing. For a brand new player, an electric guitar can be very overwhelming. You're not just learning chords and strumming. You're figuring out amps, you're figuring out knobs, gain settings, tone controls. And if you don't have any pedals, you're not going to sound anywhere close to your favorite artist sound. So there I was, a total beginner, and the guitar and amp combo wasn't cut. I was expecting to sound like Stevie Ray Vaughan, but instead, I was sounding like a guy who was still trying to figure out how to tune his guitar. Now, a year or 2 later, my dad decided that I needed an upgrade. So he surprised me with this Squier Stratocaster. Now, if you're all set on getting an electric guitar as a beginner, a Strat combo kit is a solid choice. But here's where I still went wrong. I took a few lessons and I learned a few chords, but I wasn't consistent. And the breaking point was when my dad told a family friend that I knew how to play the guitar. And suddenly I found myself sitting in a studio, unable to even form a C chord. Now that was a humbling experience. And that was strike number 2. So that was around the age of 13. And I had decided that enough was enough. Guitar just wasn't for me. But years later, I remember riding home on the train from work. And at the time, I was serving at several churches and a few bands. And I was surrounded by great musicians. And I thought it was time that I really learned how to play. But this time, I didn't buy another electric. I bought my Yamaha FG800 Acoustic. And it all changed from there. What I loved about my acoustic was that I didn't have to worry about knobs. I didn't have to worry about pedals. There were no cables. It was just me and the guitar. And I started practicing every single day. Before long, I was leading worship every Sunday at my church with this very same guitar. And I still use it to this day. It's clearly my old faithful. And that's why I tell every beginner that you should start with an acoustic guitar because it's simple, it's always ready, and you build a bond with it because there's nothing between you and the music. Even the world's greatest songwriters, when they talk about a moment of inspiration struck, they almost always say, you know, I wrote this song on this acoustic guitar right here. So if you're still stuck deciding between an acoustic and an electric, for me, it's acoustic all the way. Pick up something simple and comfortable. Grab yourself a capo. Find a pick that you like. This is the one that I like. And yes, learn to play with your fingers too, but don't skip the pick. And most importantly, make sure that you pick up the guitar every single day, even if it's only for 15 minutes. Now that's my journey. I had 3 attempts and a few missteps, and 1 guitar that's been with me ever since. If you're starting your journey, I hope you pick the one that helps you keep coming back again and again. Now tomorrow, make sure you come back and check my next video because I'm sharing 5 songs that actually helped me push through frustration, plateaus, and inspired me to keep growing as a player and a singer. And trust me, if you ever wanted to quit, you'll want to hear this out. And if you like today's 5-Minute Friday, make sure that you hit the like and subscribe so that you can be informed whenever I post a new video every Friday.